Bree's plan took shape the moment he entered the nightclub, a space where light and darkness blurred, and human desires pulsed like the rhythm of an ancient, malevolent force. His tall, imposing figure moved through the crowd with an otherworldly grace, his pale skin like moonlight, and eyes that devoured light, swirling with trapped souls. Those who met his gaze quickly recoiled, overwhelmed by the dread it invoked. His beauty, sharp and flawless, held an unnerving, unnatural quality, and his cruel smile hinted at his dark intentions. Settling in a shadowed corner, Bree observed the room with cold precision. Women lingered in his presence, captivated, while jealous men simmered with envy. A striking blonde named Flora, the queen of the club, confidently approached him. "Hey there," she greeted, her voice smooth. "Mind if I join you?" Bree's smile widened. "Not at all." As they exchanged words, Flora flirted, curious about his mysterious origins. Bree's cryptic responses intrigued her, yet a dark undertone in his voice sent a faint shiver through her. Their conversation halted when three angry men approached, led by the tallest. "You're in our spot," he snarled. Without glancing up, Bree replied calmly, "I didn't see your name on it." Flora's alarm grew as the confrontation escalated. "It's okay," she had urged, trying to diffuse the tension. "We can go somewhere else." Her words fell on deaf ears. The gang leader, Jake, pulled a pistol and aimed it at Bree. "I'm not asking," he snarled. "Get lost, or I'll make you." The room grew silent as patrons scattered. Bree finally looked up, his expression cold. "You should be careful who you threaten," he said evenly. Jake sneered. "Or what? You gonna cry?" Bree smiled darkly and stood, his presence towering. Placing a hand on Jake's shoulder, Bree murmured, "I don't need to cry." The moment their skin touched, Jake's eyes glowed red, and a demonic rage consumed him. He turned his weapon on his own allies, but Bree calmly lowered the gun. "Not yet," he commanded. Jake's companions, frozen in fear, were next. Bree extended his hands, compelling them to obey. As they shook his hands, their eyes too glowed ominously, their minds overtaken by demonic forces. "Good," Bree said. "You will serve me well." Turning to Flora, his voice softened, yet danger lingered. "You'll stay by my side, won't you?" Drawn by an inexplicable pull, Flora whispered, "Yes." Bree smiled, leading her into the night, his mind calculating his next moves to dominate the world. As Bree and Flora left the nightclub, her mind spiraled in confusion and infatuation. She couldn't resist the overwhelming pull towards him, even though she didn't fully understand it. Bree, aware of his power over her, led her to an old, decaying hotel. The flickering neon sign cast eerie light over the crumbling facade, but Bree was uninterested in appearances. This stop was merely a step in his larger plan to spread corruption. The disinterested clerk handed over their key, instinctively avoiding Bree, sensing something unsettling. Inside the room, Flora's desire became uncontrollable. She leaned in and kissed Bree with fervor, her touch trembling. Yet, as the kiss deepened, odd sensations emerged, his skin, cold and smooth like marble, and his tongue, unnaturally long. She dismissed her unease, lost in passion, until an overpowering scent of anise filled her senses. Doubt flickered in her eyes, but Bree's forceful embrace silenced her hesitation. As Bree kissed her again, something alive and cold invaded her being, paralyzing her. Flora's body stiffened as a demon entered her, spreading darkness through her soul. When he finally released her, her glowing red eyes revealed the transformation. Bree's sinister satisfaction was evident. "How do you feel?" he asked mockingly. Flora hesitated before whispering, "I feel different." Bree smiled cruelly. "You belong to me now." Helplessly, she replied, "Yes, I will." Bree's smile widened as his dark intentions gleamed in his eyes. "You will be my servant, my loyal follower. Together, we will bring this world to its knees," he had declared. Flora, under his complete control, had nodded, her mind swirling with the demon's whispers. Dark thoughts and violent desires had consumed her, leaving her a mere vessel for Bree's plans. She was no longer just Flora, she was something far more terrible, her transformation fueling her need to serve him. Bree had taken her hand and led her out of the hotel. "Come," he had commanded. "We have much to do." His mind had raced ahead, plotting his next move, envisioning the army of corrupted souls he intended to build. As they left, the city seemed to hold its breath, shrouded in an oppressive stillness. Flora, her glowing crimson eyes a beacon of corruption, had become a puppet for the darkness. She had returned home, infecting her unsuspecting parents with the same malevolent force, turning them into extensions of Bree's will. Elsewhere, Jake, one of Bree's corrupted gangsters, had spread the darkness to his brother. The demons worked tirelessly, sowing chaos and growing stronger with each soul claimed. The night was young, and Bree's dark plague was only beginning. Similar scenes unfolded across the city as the two gangsters, each in their territories, carried out Bree's will with chilling efficiency. They infected friends, families, and strangers, spreading the demons like a contagion. Those who were infected passed the curse to others, creating an unstoppable cycle of corruption. The transformation was both physical and spiritual, turning ordinary citizens into vessels for malevolent forces, driven to destroy. They spoke in ancient tongues, curses that manifested the evil now within them. The city descended into chaos as those unaffected by the demons watched in horror. The streets became battlegrounds, filled with the sounds of screams and growls. Some tried to flee, but the city itself seemed to trap them. Others fought, but the possessed were too powerful. Blood ran in the streets, and fear hung in the air. In her apartment, Flora stood with her parents, now fully under Bree's control. The demon within her purred, but it wanted more. "We must go," Flora said, her voice empty of emotion. Together, they left the apartment, continuing their grim task. Elsewhere, Bree watched his power grow. His army was taking shape, but he knew Ira, the protector of humanity, would not be easy to defeat. As Bree planned, he smiled, knowing the war had begun, and there would be no mercy for the weak. The night in New York was shrouded in darkness, with a biting wind whispering through the streets like a malevolent spirit. Bree, a vessel of countless demons, moved unseen through the shadows, his power already starting to take hold over the city. The nightclub incident had been just the beginning, and now Bree sought more to expand his influence. His tall, imposing figure, with eyes swirling with trapped souls, moved with unnatural grace toward the Bronx Zoo. There, he aimed to corrupt not just humans, but the animals as well. The zoo, once a place of wonder, had become eerily silent at night. Bree entered unnoticed, his presence concealed by the darkness, and began his dark work. He first approached the lions, whose golden eyes gleamed with recognition of his power. With a single touch, he infused them with his demonic energy, turning them into instruments of destruction. Bree continued through the zoo, corrupting tigers, bears, leopards, and hyenas, each animal transformed into a terrifying servant of his will. The zoo became his first conquest, a breeding ground for chaos. As Bree moved through the city, the darkness spread, promising an endless night and the beginning of a world on the brink of destruction. As Bree moved through the shadows, he felt an unsettling presence, a dark energy distinct from his own hellish power. This energy, ancient and arcane, thickened the air around him. He paused, narrowing his eyes as the energy coalesced into a human shape. A woman appeared before him, her skin pale and glowing, her violet eyes filled with centuries of knowledge and power. Though surprised, Bree did not show it. He extended his hand, unleashing a black, seething mass of hellish energy at her. But the woman, with a flick of her wrist, summoned her own dark magic, creating a barrier of shadow to block his attack. The two forces clashed violently, sending shockwaves through the city. After half an hour of battling to a stalemate, Bree stepped back, curious about this mysterious woman. "Who are you?" he growled. The woman smiled. "I am Nimigus, a witch born of darkness and forgotten magic. I have no quarrel with you, Bree. I only wish to test your power." Bree, intrigued, asked what she wanted. Ninmagus revealed that they shared a common goal, the destruction of Ira, the protector of humanity, who wielded the Blazefrost celestial sword. Bree agreed to join forces, eager to bring Ira to his knees with her power. Ninmagus nodded. Yes, and the Blazefrost celestial sword is the only thing standing in our way. Do not underestimate its power, Bree. It has defeated gods and demons alike. Even I, with all my power, could not stand against it. Bree's expression turned thoughtful. Then we must be careful, he said slowly. But Ira will fall, sword or no sword. He may have defeated you once, but this time will be different. With our combined power, not even the Blazefrost celestial sword will save him. Ninmagus smiled darkly. I knew I made the right choice in revealing myself to you, she said softly. Together, we will bring about the end of Ira, and then, the end of everything else. Bree nodded, feeling a sense of dark satisfaction. He had gained a powerful ally, but he knew he could not fully trust Ninmagus. For now, their goals aligned, and that was enough. As they stood in the shadows, Bree felt anticipation building. The final confrontation was near. Ira would face a force unlike any he had encountered before. Bree would be ready. Ninmagus placed a hand on his shoulder. We will succeed, she whispered. But we must act quickly. The planets are aligning. Ira will be vulnerable, and then we will strike. Bree's resolve hardened. Then let us begin. Ira will fall. The two figures vanished into the darkness, their plans already unfolding. The real darkness was yet to come.